Kai says he's throwing his name away and to call himself Rover as the leading message of a music video centered around identity fraud. Kai is Billy Elliot. He's Mr. Jaden, Mr. Andrew, Mr. Jacob, or Mr. Owen, but more important than those identities, more than anybody else, he is Mr. Rover. Which does beg the question, who was Mr. Rover originally before Kai assumed his identity? Mr. Rover is not the identity of a real person, but rather the adoption of a lifestyle of constant change. Kai says he wants to become a rover, or a person who never stays in one place and is always wandering. In interviews, Kai mentions the song to be about being a rover at heart. While certainly open for interpretation, Kai's personal tie to the concept of rover involves a message of wanting to be free both in his personal life and his life on stage. Mr. Rover is an identity that represents freedom, but Kai also admits that he doesn't have a clear enough answer to the question, what is freedom? This develops the narrative of Rover's music video, where we see Kai assuming different identities and asking the listener to come with him. This is his concept of freedom, becoming other people. The pre-chorus reads, "Take a ride with me. Do you wish to be free? The wind will take you anywhere." Without explicitly stating it, the whole catch to this idea is that Kai, without a strong enough idea about what the concept of freedom means to him, will have to continue to be Mr. Rover. That inevitably means that he won't be staying in one place for long with the person he wants to come with him. Despite encouraging the subject of the story to be free and wandering like he is, he knows that he's eventually going to end up leaving them behind. That's what freedom means to him. He'll eventually become someone who doesn't recognize the person he's speaking to. The bridge to this song reads, 1, 2, and about to go vanish. No need to cling to illusions. Peel away the fake from the real, the truth for you. Flip the thinking that cages you. As you see who I am, watch me go. Catch me if you can, let's race. It's in the moment that Kai reveals his true identity that he has to leave. What's so interesting about this song to me in retrospect is that Kai presents his own concept of freedom as something inherently deceptive. The way in which he changes himself to be free results in him abandoning the people around him, and that is the same exact conversation that Taemin has on the song Guilty. Taemin's own explanation about the song and project as a whole is an introspective look on the feeling of guilt. What causes someone to feel guilty, and what are the implications of guilty actions in society? In interviews, Taemin explained being inspired by The Truman Show. The moment Jim Carrey's character realized the existence he had been living in was a film production, and that there was an audience watching him the entire time. Taemin relates this to his own experiences in the music industry, where now more than half of his life has been witnessed by people he doesn't know. Guilty becomes the moment Taemin realizes the reality of this situation and the path he can take to break himself free, as the idol world and the real world blend together to meet him where he's always been. That separation or distinction of those two existences is what leads us to Guilty and the music video inspired by the works of George Bataille. Taemin's onstage persona is not characteristic of who he is in real life. He has adopted different personas throughout his career as an idol, and this is what inspires a kind of guilt in him. Notable lines from the song read as follows as he speaks to the subject of the story. "You got me guilty, trick and take everything from you. Again, just playing a game all for fun. Hundreds of lies. On the vague border between good and bad, you played the fool for me. When you've caught on, I'm already gone." Again, and strikingly similar to Kai, Taemin will leave as soon as the subject of the story has caught on to what he's been doing, when they realize who he actually is. Taemin's individual expression to this concept of freedom is how he feels guilty about being Mr. Rover, but that realization can't stop him from what he's doing. Taemin's feeling of guilt doesn't seem to affect him at this moment. Guilt is not really something that he's feeling, it's just him plainly acknowledging that he's guilty of something. That is a concept that Taemin and Kai both share in Guilty and Rover. Both projects are quite complex looks into the concept of freedom, and it's interesting how they both understand the concept of true freedom as something that will ultimately deceive the people around them. I suppose that's what they both understand the life of an idol to be, someone who can never be one thing or one person. If they do stay in the same place, they run the risk of losing their true identity as other people misinterpret who they actually are. To them, it's better to become someone else and have that be misinterpreted rather than having their true identity mischaracterized. That is the benefit of becoming Mr. Rover, being able to protect who they really are by becoming someone else, but is Mr. Rover sustainable? For now, Kai and Taemin have settled that they may always have to be rovers, to have to deceive people in order to preserve who they truly are in the end. That is likely what justifies the deception in their eyes. Taemin is guilty, but he doesn't feel guilty, right? And that's my theory. I love both of these songs, and this is my maybe over-analysis of the narrative of these two projects. I don't really think that these two stories are intentionally connected. They could be, all in the SM culture universe, but I doubt so. I just think that these two projects touched on similar enough topics with differing levels of understanding and nuance about their position in the idol industry. That being said, if you have any thoughts or ideas, I'll be interested to hear what you think as always. Thank you for watching, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you next time.